Welcome to the Gunslinger Gaming
Wait, no, sorry.
Fuck off!
Wow,
bitch!
you really,
no, I'm sorry.
really took me on that.
I didn't do the count. I never do the countdown. You always do the countdown. You do the countdown. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to fake you out.
You just like jumped on it though. I'm kind of impressed.
Yeah. Damn, dude. Nice.
Goga's
Good,
ready to
good
go.
reflexes.
3, 2, 1. What up, y'all? Welcome to the Gunslinger Gaming Frosty Pints podcast. I'm Gobi. With me tonight is DrNiggle, OmegaConstruct,
I saw a raccoon today.
Eliteness,
Hey,
and Zero Burn 75. So
What's
sit
up,
back,
Frank?
enjoy the ride. Spark 'em if you got 'em. Happy holidays, motherfuckers.
Oh my. Oh shit. You're right.
Yeah, I went to Central Park today and I saw a raccoon, and it was really cool. There's this place in Central Park where there's this really it's called the Conservatory Gardens, and it's really nicely manicured and landscaped, and they've got this giant trellis area with benches under it that's got like 100-year-old wisterias. And I was sitting there under this trellis, which is just starting to sprout leaves, no flowers yet. And I'm like, what? Oh, a cat up there climbing on the trellis. And I look, and it's a fucking raccoon climbing up on top of the trellis. And it just chilled out up there for like 20 minutes and then climbed down, and it was great. I just felt like sharing that story.
Nature is
That's a
returning.
beautiful
to New York.
story.
Yeah,
After
I actually
100
made that
years.
joke. I was like,
We are the
dolphins are
virus.
returning. Yeah, like dolphins are returning to Venice, and the fucking raccoons have taken over Central Park. I mean, anybody who spent any time in New York knows the funny part of that joke is that the raccoons have always fucking owned Central Park.
Well, it's the only place for them to live.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean they're not walking around Times Square all the time and shit too at night.
Well, they gotta go get food. I mean, you know how much. I mean, there's gotta be dumpsters all over the place.
Well, yeah, it's the city.
Yeah. Did you guys have a good holiday? Chilled, just relaxed. What you guys do?
There was a holiday?
420.
It's 420,
Oh.
bitch.
So yeah, gonna pack a little bit right now.
Yeah, no, I was working all day.
He didn't get the memo apparently.
Negative.
Nah, Linus is an adult. He doesn't smoke weed. He does PCP. Adult drugs. PCP and meth and cocaine. He doesn't do weed.
He only does the grown-up stuff.
Yeah.
All right,
Are you
that's
back
taken
with
care
it?
of.
Should
By the way, I should point out that it is legal in Massachusetts. There are no lawbreakers here.
New York don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
It's decriminalized and the cops literally don't care.
But yeah, Wisconsin, New Orleans, and Virginia. Yeah, you're. Actually, I don't know about New Orleans. Is it decriminalized in
Nice.
New Orleans?
No,
Virginia just
Nice
declared-
whiskey, man.
no, I don't think so. I think
Okay.
it's still illegal
So,
in
all right.
Louisiana.
So Virginia decriminalized it, so that's cool.
Yeah, we're still waiting.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure New Orleans will do it one day. Pretty soon.
Surprised I haven't already. You're fucking party city, at least 2 times out of the year. One time is almost a month long.
I mean, yeah.
Well,
The
I
amount
think
of
part of
shit.
that is that during that time they don't care.
Yeah.
That's true. I noticed that law enforcement seems pretty lax, when you're down there.
I don't know, I
Mardi
feel
Gras,
like-
at least.
I feel like when Mardi Gras is happening, the cops are legitimately worried about people not murdering each other and like going crazy and dying in the streets of overdoses or whatever. So like they probably couldn't care less. They're too busy to care about somebody smoking weed.
They're too worried about Jacqueline Claggett. And you guys didn't watch the Netflix documentary, I take it.
No, yeah, I was like, is that some inside joke that only people from Louisiana know?
No, there was a documentary about this. It's about the opioid epidemic, and there was this one woman that's a doctor in New Orleans that is like basically only doing, like really hardtack fentanyl and shit like that, making what is it? What that the three? I forgot what the fucking thing is called, but it's like the triad or the Trinity, Holy Trinity. There we go. Yeah, the Holy Trinity is these three prescription drugs that if you take them, it's basically like more dangerous than heroin.
Really? What are those? Yeah, what are those three? I'm asking for a friend.
No, apparently it's like really, really bad. It's like fentanyl and two other ones. But I mean, you watch the documentary, they tell you pretty much how to do it all if you're
Yeah, it's probably
interested.
gonna be what, like fentanyl, oxys,
Yeah,
and
I think the whole thing
maybe
started with oxy, and then
what,
fentanyl
methadone?
came in. There was one other that like they add to it that makes it, and then they crush it and fucking inject it and do all sorts of stuff. But anyway, this lady literally ran like a 24-hour, well, not a 24-hour operation, but her doctor's office opened up at like 11 p.m. at night and ran through the night. So it was like,
Oh, I remember that.
I'm pretty sure you're a fucking drug dealer at this point.
Well, it's kind of insane how much certain states like Florida, they have pain clinics down there where like they have medicinal marijuana in like states like California before it was legalized, or Colorado or anywhere else where medicinal was happening. Florida has pain clinics like that where you go in, there's a quote unquote doctor there who is a doctor who will see you and write you a prescription, and they will fill your prescription for painkillers.
Yeah, this is basically what she was, a pain clinic, but
Yes,
she was the
exactly.
highest. She was the highest in the entire United States, like the entire U.S. combined. She was pretty much doubling the U.S. uh, production of fentanyl sales or some shit like that. That's how bad she was. Like there
Yeah,
was
that's
such a big
insane.
spike that the FBI made this huge case on her. Anyway, I mean, there you would go, you'd pay, you could have two different lines. One was the expedited line, and if you paid extra, you'd go the expedited line. And they just had written prescriptions at the desk. You didn't even need to see the doctor.
Well, you know what's insane? When I knew some kids in college who this was back, more than more than a decade ago now, when pain clinics were just becoming a thing, and it was kind of the Wild West. Um, went to school in New York and had friends who would go online. Keep in mind, this is the internet back in more than a decade ago, to a website for a pain clinic in Florida, and they would write their quote unquote symptoms onto the website, and a doctor on the other end would write them a prescription and mail them painkillers
Oh
from
wow.
Florida.
Are these the friends I'm thinking of?
Yeah, I didn't want to put your name into the story unless you wanted
Okay.
it to be there, but it is now. Yes, it is those friends.
I know that. Yeah, there's a picture of me on a cell phone that was destroyed when I ran over it with my car after I dropped it in a puddle, of me holding up 2 Ziploc bags full of Vicodin.
Yeah, they were getting Suboxone. They were getting fentanyl patches. They were getting oxys. They were getting Xannies by like the Ziploc bag.
Jesus Christ, I forgot that we knew legitimate criminals in college.
Well, but that's the thing. They were getting it from a doctor in Florida who was
Yeah, and
writing
it was
them
all technically
prescriptions.
legal.
Like, it was the wild fucking West back then.
But yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah.
Still criminals.
I mean,
South Africa was kind of the same, except with real drugs, not over-the-counter drugs.
oh, none of these drugs are over the counter. Like, let me be clear. These are highly controlled substances that involve federal jail time.
Oh,
for
no,
they're all
not
opiates.
over the counter. I mean,
Yeah,
they're all
they're
from
all
a
opiates.
pharmacy.
Right, you're talking about pharmaceuticals. Yeah, sure.
Oh, well, we got plenty of like heroin, meth, and cocaine and all that good stuff here in the
Are
US.
you kidding me?
well,
If you drive 45 minutes down I-81 in Virginia from where I live, there is a place called Pulaski County. They are the meth capital of Virginia. You can't walk 15 feet. You would to get to a friend of mine's house. I believe, as Ron White put it, I had to drive past 4 meth labs and a dead hooker just to get to a friend's house.
Oh, nice.
Jeez, yeah. Happy 420, everybody. Weed
Yay,
is
do
nowhere
drugs.
near. No, weed.
Yeah, this
do
is
weed.
a-
Smoke weed every day because fucking nowhere near as bad as the rest of the drugs.
Uh,
Ever hear
Yeah.
about somebody overdosing on weed? No, it's not possible.
it's a gateway
I
drug. though.
believe George Carlin put it best when he said, "The only way that weed is a performance enhancing drug is if there's a giant fucking cheeseburger at the end of the."
Yeah, I would agree.
Someone's coughing on theirs.
Meanwhile, Carlin was fucking snorting cocaine by the handful.
Oh, yeah.
Understate.
Well, yeah, a lot of comedians, but especially his 80s shows, the shows that he did in the late 70s and the 80s. Yeah, same time Robin Williams was making his rounds in the stand-up circuit. You could tell, and Dennis Leary. You could tell there was a whole crowd of stand-up comedians who were doing a lot of cocaine before they came on stage.
I mean, look at
Yeah.
Kinnison. Dude, Ron White
Yeah,
said when he
yeah, that's
opened
another
for
one.
Kinnison, he used to walk into a place 45 minutes late, would just walk in, drop an entire ball of cocaine on the table, snort the whole fucking thing, and then walk out on stage and absolutely slay an entire room.
All right, so I think it's that time when Leetness has to leave and do cocaine.
Yep, you heard me typing, and I'm assuming that you know that's the cue.
All right, thank you for joining us, Leetness.
Yeah, sorry, short but sweet. Have a good one.
Yep, you too. Happy holidays.
Thanks.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Penis.
So, do we have any actual gaming news this week? That's the question.
Oh, yeah.
There's some. So do we want to go all controversial first, or do we want to save that for last?
Hell, might as
Yeah,
well rip that
let's-
fucking
yeah,
Band-Aid off.
let's do it first. Yeah, Omega was reading this before we started. It's kind of funny.
Fuck China. China sucks. Actually, who gives a shit? Chinese players are all cheaters. Isn't that the story nowadays? I don't know. Yeah.
No,
China
the meme.
has
Yeah, the meme
banned
is
online gaming with
Don't trust
people
China. China is
outside of
asshole.
China.
Thank you,
So
Zero. That is
online
the meme.
gaming is now contained within the Great Firewall of China, and I, for one, am quite sad because now we will no longer have such amazing gems as Taiwan #1, because now we can't ever have
Yeah,
that again.
Because
That is
now
one
who
of the
gives a
greatest
shit?
things ever, and Taiwan #1 can never happen again now.
Go on YouTube and check out Taiwan #1 memes.
It is one of the best videos. And this is like old school internet. It's just a guy pissing off his Chinese opponent by telling him Taiwan is better, and apparently that's all you got to say to piss off a Chinese person in an online video game.
Well, did you see the interview that a reporter did with one of the representatives from WHO? They asked them, "Well, why hasn't the WHO accepted Taiwan's petition to join the WHO?" And the guy just gets real quiet and kind of looks off to the side and looks right and looks left. And he goes, "What? I didn't hear you." And she said, "Oh, okay, I'll repeat the question." And he goes, No. Let's just go to another question."
Yeah.
Wow.
See, I don't want to get too deep into this, but like politics is something that I know really well, and that was a fucking douchebag question by the journalist. That was like a really
Agreed. No, agreed.
douchey move by the journalist because the
You know
WHO
exactly why.
The WHO has a mission worldwide to keep tabs on diseases. If the WHO acknowledges Taiwan's existence, they will not be allowed into China. And China is, as we have seen with COVID, with SARS, swine flu, they are a hotbed of disease. The WHO needs to be in China. So if that means they have to play this fucking shitty political game, and it is shitty, and it's not their fault, it's the rest of the world's fault for letting China play this fucking game. But like that reporter asking that person that question was just fucking douchey. And as somebody who works in news, like I hate that. I think that is so shitty. Sorry for the rant.
I think you covered it. So anyway, this whole thing became because of Animal Crossing, and apparently some people made some satirical content that China didn't like. So
Did it involve Winnie the Pooh?
no, actually, it went back to that free Hong Kong bullshit.
It should have been Winnie the Pooh. How
Well, yeah, I was
difficult
actually
would it
wondering
have been?
what. Oh, go ahead.
No, that's it. Yeah. So somebody content for free Hong Kong, which isn't bullshit. Actually, they're having a hell of a time.
No,
through all
it's
this
not,
COVID
but-
stuff. But yeah, China's reaction to it has pretty much consistently been bullshit.
But like my question is, why ban the game? Because like, is there anything intrinsic about Animal Crossing that's anti-China, or is it just shit people are doing in the game that is pissing
Just-
off Chinese government?
Just stuff they're doing inside the game.
So why don't they just do what they're doing and just shut down their internet and have their own little tyrannical fake version of reality and let people play fucking Animal Crossing?
The funny
Oh.
part. The funny part
Hold up.
is. Oh yeah. Okay.
There's more to the law. The new law also will not allow zombies and plagues, map editing, role playing as a organized union in games. Regulations which are believed to be inspired by sensitive content made by Joshua Wong.
Joshua
I'm not
Wong.
sure who that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I'm
need to
not
get
sure.
deeper into that to know what that means. But like,
Yeah,
what does it mean by organized like role playing? Or
I assume that means that people are shit out of luck in China if they want to play Plague Incorporated.
well, yeah. So like any game relating to disease or zombies is out. I get that.
Oh wait, there's a Battlefield mod for zombies, isn't there?
Battlefield.
Well, I mean, there are tons of games that have zombie modes, and then as
all
either
that's
as
out.
official content or as mods.
Yeah, I mean, even Arma 3 has a zombie mod for
Well,
it.
that's how
So
DayZ started.
right. I wonder if they just block the mod for those games, or if they just block the whole game because the
I mean,
mod
knowing
is
the
out
Chinese
there.
government, they would probably just block the whole game. I doubt they're going for precision and nuance with these kind of laws.
But dude, how can they block individual games through Steam or individual mods through the workshop? Because I was just thinking about there are 2 zombie mods for RimWorld. I was thinking about games that have a huge Chinese following. RimWorld is one of them. There is one zombie mod that's been around for like a decade, and it's just your standard zombie mod. And there's a second one that was a beautiful bit of coding that started out as an experiment to see how many pawns a guy could put onto a map without degrading performance beyond like 1% or something. And this dude figured out an amazing algorithm to add thousands of pawns all moving independently without degrading any performance, and that became the Zombieland, I think it's called, is the mod. So if that's actually the case, and that's like the Chinese law, how are they going to block individual mods? How are they going to block individual games on Steam? Just block all Steam?
Dude, imagine
regional
RimWorld
filter.
imagine RimWorld if they just blocked workshop content.
It would suck.
Only the vanilla game.
I would have played it with you, that one game that we did, and then I would have been done with it and been like, yeah, all right.
Well, the whole beauty of the game is that it's so moddable. That's literally the whole fucking point of the game. After like your second playthrough is like, all right, now what can I fuck with? Like that's literally why you play RimWorld.
Oil
So, like,
drilling and
hold up.
nuclear power.
Here's the better question. What happens to all the mods that were made by Chinese people that you guys play?
Ooh. Well, I mean,
That's an
those are all Chinese. So the only thing I really care about are the Chinese language translations, and I don't give a shit about those. No.
Actually,
That would not impact me at all, I think.
For RimWorld, yeah, it wouldn't, because I'm sorry to say, most of the Chinese mods that are out there are made specifically for the Chinese, so they aren't in English, which means we don't download them. I've been playing City Skylines again recently, and some of the assets that I use definitely do come from Chinese authors, because for some reason a lot of Chinese authors like to make Japanese architecture. I don't really know what that's about. It just, but it's fine.
That seems a little counterproductive, but okay.
Yeah, I don't question it.
Fact, and I bet honestly, if like that was presented to the right group of people, a study would be done about that.
But anyway, I don't question it, and they do really amazing work. So whatever. But yeah, I don't know if they were to block mods that Chinese authors had made. City Skylines would definitely be affected. Well, let's go take a look through Steam at all the games that I heavily mod.
Yeah, I mean the only way I see them doing it with Steam is if they make a regional filter, and China just says these games aren't allowed in our region.
Yeah, and if I had to guess, it would be the type of decision to ban an entire game because of one mod that had zombies in it, rather than being nuanced and specific with their bans. I doubt that they would be do it with any sort of actual care to their approach.
Yeah, I agree. I think
As-
broad strokes is probably what they're going to end up getting. I mean, it'll be interesting to see what kind of effect it has on, some other games too. Like, for instance, I know like when I used to play Battlefield and stuff, you almost always had a few people come in from China. You're not going to have that anymore, which is going to keep the rate down, which should make games better almost. I don't know. It could also reduce player count drastically as well.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what game developers are going to do, because there have already been cases where developers have made different versions of games for different countries. But I wonder if developers are going to have a problem with the idea of an entire segment of the marketplace being completely shut off from the rest of the market, versus just having to give different versions of the same content.
There's a whole rant that I could go into there about how then they're going to play between which market is more profitable, and then their games are going to be more geared towards the more profitable isolated cube. So whatever. The memes are rife on Reddit already, and also on Imager and wherever else you go for your memes. But they have the long and the short of it is Activision Blizzard and Ubisoft will likely just bend over backwards and do whatever the Chinese government asks them to do with their games, because they have in the past, and they want to keep on making money because they are AAA companies and they are beholden to stockholders, and stockholders want money, and money is God. Fuck everyone else. Money. Give me money.
Yeah, well, what's been interesting is that with the growth of the Chinese market, it's currently the most profitable for them to cater to the Chinese market while selling to the rest of us as well. So it's going to be interesting to see where that equation shifts, if it's having to have two completely separate markets.
People are just going to go more towards moddable games. They're going to do it through Steam or through Nexus or through whatever platform they're able to release mods for, and they're going to just bring whatever content that they want. It's going to push independent development again, which is not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, PUBG was extremely popular, and all that was a mod.
Yep.
Gobi is so stoned.
I just completely lost all you guys. But I was just gonna say,
He is rock.
so Crytek announced the Crisis Remaster, which they've hinted about for a while now, and I'm looking forward to it. It's about fucking time. I'm just more curious on where they're gonna release it. Is it going to be on Steam? Is it going to be on Origin? Is it going to be on Epic? I mean, I doubt Epic, honestly. Steam or Origin, I could see a release on though.
Yeah, I imagine wouldn't they could use it as an excuse to push Origin. I mean, Origin needs some love.
Yeah, but I swear I read earlier, like late last year, that Origin games were going to start showing up on Steam.
I mean, oh yeah, you did. You're right. You brought that up in the podcast. I mean, that'd be cool if it made a release on Steam. I would like to see that. Yeah, either that or on Origin. I'm not entirely opposed to Origin. As far as launchers go, it's better than Uplay. And then again, it pretty much have to be.
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily have an issue with Origin. I mean, sometimes it doesn't work, but a simple uninstall and reinstall fixes the issue. But it's always a weird issue, like it doesn't properly load in, like it just sits there at a blank launcher.
Load.
Yeah. It's weird that they haven't really said anything else about it other than they announced that it's coming.
You know,
it's also coming for the Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and the Switch. And Saber Interactive, the people are making it for the Switch, are the same people that just made what was the other game that just came to the Switch? I don't remember.
Coolest thing ever would be if they release the new Crisis or Crisis Remastered on GOG. It's probably never gonna happen, but it would be so fucking cool.
It could. The original Crisis is on GOG. It's actually more supported on GOG than it is on Steam. If you buy Crisis on GOG, you get the 64-bit binaries built right in, and they automatically run on Windows 10.
Oh, very cool.
If you buy it on Steam, you only get the 32-bit binaries, and then you have to download the 64-bit and rename them to bin32 to get 64-bit to work on PC. But both versions don't run full screen on most computers, so you need something like borderless windowed gaming to take it to full screen, borderless full screen.
That's why doesn't it run full screen? It's just because it's too old, or because it's so fucking poorly optimized?
I think it due to it being old, like something doesn't work. Like the whole full screen doesn't. For some computers, some people can run it fine, and some GPUs, for whatever reason, the game just will not run full screen. Like you'll be fine in the menus, and you'll hit start, and it'll go all the way through the loading screen. But as soon as you hit play to go to the game, it'll just be a black screen, or it'll crash to the desktop if it's in full screen. But if you switch to windowed mode, it'll play just fine.
You know, that shouldn't be surprising at all, just considering how poorly that game was coded and implemented. But still, kind of funny.
Yeah, I mean, I will say I did add some HD mods to it, and it looks way better than the original. But the remaster, for when I've seen of the gameplay, looks 10 times better than what I was playing with mods. Right now, I think they've only said that it's single player, but part of me is kind of hoping they bring back the multiplayer. And I also hope it's a direct, like, I believe, like the same. I want the same nanosuit commands as was in the first one. I don't want it to be like Crisis 3 or Crisis 2. Like, I want the suit commands from Crisis 1 in the remaster.
Man, that would be fun. Somebody actually, I was gonna say, someone did a triangle or polygon study a little while back. Could have been months ago, but I think it was this year, where they were analyzing the number of polygons and triangles in 3D computer graphics, and they went back to like the 80s when you had 60, or sorry, early 90s when you had 60 triangles in a face, and then they did by 10 600, which was a couple of years later, and then 6,000, and things were looking pretty awesome around 2006 2008, and then they did a comparison of 6,000 to 60,000 to 600,000. It basically looks the same. So Crisis came right at that mark when we hadn't quite gotten everything great, and now we're pushing it with the remaster. So it's gonna look fucking fantastic. Because I just remember Nostalgia Berries. That was a beautiful game when it came out. But yeah, looking back at the original graphics, not so much anymore. So looking forward to that remaster.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I know it's only single player at this moment, but it's, you know, it says we'll focus on the original game single player campaign, and then it adds a bunch of other basically new technology, which is cool, and the new CryEngine 3, which is, you know, we've seen other games on this engine, so it's a much better engine than the original Crisis. It should be a lot smoother. The light should be a lot better. It should be a lot prettier. It should be a lot crisper. But I really want. I'm not a much of a multiplayer guy, but the original Crisis multiplayer was fucking fun, and I hope it comes back.
I don't know that. Yeah, I don't think I played the multiplayer on Crisis, maybe because the school that I was at like blocked the ports for it so that we couldn't specifically. Because they were shitty at Windows security, so we could basically install whatever we wanted on whatever computer, but for some reason they knew more about networking than they did about just PC security.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean,
Oh, Counter-Strike, that's what did it. Kids were installing Counter-Strike. Yeah, they were installing Counter-Strike and playing it during computer science, and our administrator, Mr. Zarnecki, still remember his name, didn't take kindly to that. So instead of figuring out how to make it so he couldn't install things, he just blocked ports.
Let's
Hey,
be honest,
makes
though.
sense.
If you're a computer science teacher in, what was this, high school?
Yeah.
In high school, and your students have figured out how to get around your shit and install a game onto the computer, what can you teach them in computer science classes that they don't already know?
Yeah, at that point, it was basically, he should have switched over to, well, he wasn't our teacher. He was the network admin for the school. But our teacher, I think, got wind of that, so he started teaching us the programming language of the future, ActionScript, so that we would be totally set when we went out into the big wide world. That's why I know ActionScript. Yeah, nobody knows what it is. Nobody knows what it is anymore. It was Adobe's big thing. They're like, oh, we're going to make this Java-C hybrid, and everyone's going to love it. And it's going to take over the streaming platform. Oh, yeah, just like FLV was going to take over the streaming platform. Yeah, smash cut to 10 years later. Nope, everyone uses Python or Java, but mostly Python, and M4V is the container for YouTube. So, suck it. Suck it, Adobe.
Yep. Speaking of blasts from the past, Star Wars: The Old Republic gets an update tomorrow, the 21st. It will be updated to 6.1.1. Not really sure what all dispatch entails. I just found it hilarious that a game as old as Star Wars: The Old Republic was getting a official update.
That surprises me because that game's pretty much dead.
It sounds like a month-long double XP event as well, and some bonus series missions transformed into dailies and week.
Yeah,
I'm
what's
not
been
sure.
going on with this game?
Yeah, WoW is doing the same thing, but they've extended their double XP until the pre-patch for Shadowlands drops. So, and nobody knows when that's going to be. So it could be tomorrow. It could be 6 months from now. Nobody knows.
Honestly, it sounds like it might just be that studio trying to get into this current trendy phase of retro games coming back. I mean, right now, like RuneScape 2000, RuneScape 2007 has a huge community going on it. You know, WoW Classic is doing its thing. Maybe they're just seeing if they can revive this long dead game.
Wait.
Hmm.
If I'm
When did this come out?
if I'm reading
Sorry,
this
Gilly.
right, there's another update that was set to release in June. Update 6.2 was supposed to come in June, that has now been postponed indefinitely as a result of the studios being closed down for the moment. As soon as they reopen, development will continue. Based on current expectations, 6.2 should be released sometime this summer or early fall.
This is a little weird. I'm looking through this and wondering what some of this is. Like, what is a gathering lockbox? I just think loot box when I hear it.
You would be correct.
What about a heroic box?
Loot box.
So they have all these new player rewards, 3 different tiers of player rewards from conquests. Oh, so now you can also get mission XP boosts, and they're a new type of boost. They will offer bonus experience from missions only, and they'll be stackable with other boosts. They will also have a shorter duration of 30 minutes per boost. Yeah, I bet that's a microtransaction.
Hey, yeah, guess what? They've had those for a long time. They're just making them off of.
Great. Yeah, fantastic. Okay, so microtransaction, and then for levels 50 to 70, microtransaction. Credit certificate? Is that something that you buy or something that you earn?
You can earn those, but it takes an act of fucking Congress to get one.
Okay, so probably microtransaction. And then level 71 plus, we have a microtransaction, another microtransaction, a microtransaction. I don't know what tech fragments are. Sounds like a microtransaction.
Those are new. I don't know what those are.
Okay.
I would guess crafting component.
Yeah, it sounds like it, right? And small conquest equipment crate, which reads to me like loot crate, so microtransaction. Yay! Star Wars: The Old Republic. New microtransactions for everybody and all levels.
Well, yeah, it sounds like what a lot of games do nowadays. It's like, this is all stuff that you could quote unquote earn in game.
Is it though?
But if you're lazy and don't want to have to do it 100 times and hope for an RNG drop or whatever, you can, just buy it or buy all these crafting materials or buy all these. Yeah, it seems like the kind of thing where like they'll reward you one of these heroic crates a month if you do some stupid quest, or you could just buy a bunch of them.
Shut up and take my money. I want instant gratification.
Essentially, yes.
Surprise mechanics.
Oh, all right.
See, back when I was playing, when I did play that game, the big thing then was they were pushing their loot box system, and it was pay to win. To get further in the game, you had to buy packages to be able to get like crystals for your lightsabers or upgrades for weapons to be able to move forward in the game. It was stupid.
And that's obviously why the game became more popular.
Oh, absolutely.
Probably. It does look like there are some changes to the classes too. I mean, but unless you've been playing this, I'm guessing none of these mean anything to anybody.
Oh, yeah. I was gonna say, really good news for medicine/Sawbones. Accomplished Dr. Sawbones now also allows the initial heal from Colto infusion pack to refresh the duration of the 2-stack Colto probe, slow-release medpack, in addition to its other effects. I don't know what the fuck that means, but it sounds just great.
I'm a Star Wars nerd, and I have no idea what the fuck you just said.
I mean, I know what Colto is. It's the stuff that they harvest off the floor of that sea planet with all the creatures that talk like... But I've never heard of a Colto probe. Luke Skywalker, after you get mauled by that asshole Yeti that wanted to go to the prom with him, but Luke Skywalker said no, when they cut back to him and he's in the tank, that's a Colto tank, for anybody who has only ever seen Empire Strikes Back, which is fine, by the way.
Yeah, nothing like describing a game's meta mechanics to people who have no idea about the game.
Yeah, this is great.
Yep. And the last thing we had for wonderful gaming news is so there's a tiny patch out for Minecraft Bedrock Edition that added ray tracing. So if you have a card that can support it, check it out. The screenshots, it looks interesting.
Yes, let's add the current most sophisticated technology in rendering graphics for video games and slap it onto a game designed to run on a microwave.
Yeah, a potato. A potato with electrodes popping out of it, powering a clock.
Like, of all the games that you're going to add ray tracing to, fucking Minecraft? I mean, cool, I guess, but why?
We can do it. We have the technology.
I mean, the underwater shit looks really cool with the ray tracing on.
This dragon statue picture that they have is pretty bitchin' too. I mean, it looks pretty, but it's still made of cubes.
It makes me wonder
So pretty.
It makes me wonder if these pictures are like 1-to-1, or if like the ray tracing is a 1-to-1 addition to the game, or if it's involving it's like an entire visual overhaul. So it's not just the ray tracing. So I bet if you turned off ray tracing, it would still look pretty bitchin' with the new version of the graphics. So it's not like these pictures, as cool as they look, I think there is more to it than just the ray tracing.
I might have to try and turn this on just for fun.
Do you have a card that supports ray tracing?
No.
I support your experiment.
Go for it.
I mean, what's the worst thing I gotta do? I gotta uninstall the game and reinstall it?
What's the worst thing that could happen? My computer catches fire? Yeah.
I was about to say, the worst thing that can happen in this case is probably the white smoke.
It's just, it's just gonna tell you, yeah, right. Can't
You're gonna
open the game,
install
sorry.
it and try to run it, and your computer's just gonna pop up and say, "Fuck you."
Yeah,
and
what the
then
fuck
shut
do I
down.
look like? I am taking a self-imposed timeout while you think about what you've done.
Oh, wait. So it's a totally different thing. But yeah.
Oh yeah, we could. So this is neat. All right, if people definitely appreciate the aesthetic of Minecraft because, like, yeah, it's all made out of blocks. They're basically pixels. But if you make something absolutely gargantuan and then blow it out and view it from a mile away in game, it can look amazingly cool. And there's nothing wrong with recreating Hogwarts in its entirety.
You know what that sounds like to me? Microsoft Paint with extra steps.
Okay,
I have to agree.
So just as a
That
quick
sounds like
aside,
pixel art in Microsoft Paint with
oh
extra
my
steps.
god,
Pixel by pixel, zoom out. It's a picture.
Did you mean to make a Rick and Morty reference?
I mean,
I'm
I
taking
am
note.
aware that the with extra steps thing is a reference.
Okay, good. All right. It's an excellent show, everybody. Come on, we're still in we're
it's
still
the
in quarantine
smartest
here.
show you're not watching.
It's the best
Kinda
show
like-
since Futurama. Go watch Rick and Morty. Give it a try.
So in celebration of the holiday today, in Colombia, the lost city of marijuana, you can buy 2.2 pounds of weed for $11.
Wait, what? Fuck me.
You're not
What?
the type.
Okay. Honest question though, what is the quality like? Because like,
Well, I mean, it's
there's-
coming from Colombia, so one of two things: it's either fresh as hell, or it's laced with cocaine.
well,
Oh
no,
no,
like,
laced with cocaine is more expensive.
there's just plenty of weed that's grown that's just not good weed, and a lot of it comes from South and Central America. Like anybody who's ever smoked Mexican brickweed knows the quality of what weed can be like.
Yeah.
And when you start hearing about it being that cheap, it's like Daniel Tosh had a joke where I forget where he went, but he was like, he said, I went and bought $50 of weed. The guy handed me a trash bag, and he's like, I didn't care if it had branches in it. I was king for a day. So it was like super shitty weed that is dirt cheap. I'm not gonna expect like $20 for a pound or two or however much you just said for like really great bud.
Well, it says it says some of the highest quality cannabis in the world can be found growing in the small town of Toribio, Colombia.
Yeah, okay. If they're handing out really good weed or something like that for like $11, Jesus Christ. I would have driven to Colombia. Yes,
I would've
you
started-
can go, but you totally can. There's a bridge across the Panama Canal, damn it.
I would have just stopped in Illinois because it's legal there and said fuck it.
Oh man, I would. Yeah, all the weed shops are still closed in Massachusetts, which is bullshit.
You know, Colorado and California they don't care if you fly in and have drugs. I wonder if there would ever be a way to get like weed through customs if you're going into a legal state, or if the federal government's always going to be getting their fingers in it.
Yeah, from
that's-
outside of the country? No, yeah, TSA is federal.
Yeah, and then they'll take you in the little room and fingers up the butt. Not a good time.
I mean, depends on what you're into.
Yeah, no king shaming.
Look, you do you. I don't do that.
Don't gotta be so defensive about it. It's all right.
It's a little. We get a little suspicious about people who are defensive about that sort of thing, sir. I don't know if you knew that.
I do know that, actually.
So you guys started playing Borderlands 3?
Quickly change the subject.
I was waiting for him to walk into the soundboard. I got the soundboard. I haven't played a lot of these things on the podcast, but yeah, Omega started playing BL3.
Yeah, it's fun. It's pretty. It is a beautifully upgraded version of exactly what I remember from Borderlands. And I can say that because in the few days before I started playing Borderlands 3, I actually had started replaying Borderlands 1. And I literally went from one game to the next, and it feels the same. And it's just that much more beautiful and awesome. So anybody who played the old school Borderlands, fucking get on your game and get this.
A worthy successor, would you say?
Absolutely. And much like the when they transitioned from 1 to 2, the 4 classes that you could pick from are all unique and new and completely ridiculous. This time, like for my first playthrough of Borderlands 3, I am a Beastmaster. So I have my own pet Skag that I can make attack my enemies. But
Skag is like a dog.
Yeah, it's like a warg wolf, gross, nasty thing with a split jaw and face, and it's awesome. But I just also happen to be a robot.
I mean, that makes sense. Animals love robots.
Yeah, apparently. So I'm a robot with a vicious pet animal that attacks my enemies. It's fun.
I believe the
think the
plan.
last time I played was Borderlands 2, and I was a techromancer, and you could call him that giant fucking robot.
Oh, you could summon mechs. I never played BL2.
Well, it was this one like robot that like came around with you and like beat people up and stuff, and you could
Oh,
upgrade him
that's
through
nice.
skills.
That's sweet. It's like your robot buddy. I
He
would have
was.
named my character Will Robinson.
Oh, speaking of that, waiting for season 3. It's gonna be a long fucking wait.
I was gonna ask how everybody's been passing the time in quarantine. I know Gobi was playing some Breakpoint today.
Yeah, I played some Breakpoint. I played some Division earlier. I even played some Brink. For anybody that doesn't remember that game, it did exist. It was a thing. Um, yeah, I built a couple of PCs and just got some gaming in.
I have been almost exclusively spending my time learning about and planning for D&D sessions.
Yeah, you
I'm-
kind of went balls deep into that.
I am like full on all the way in. Like,
Head first dive.
yeah, man, I've like spent money on like programs to draw my own maps, and pretty proud of some of the maps I've created, if I do say so myself. Like I spend hours just looking up different monsters, and I've started creating my own random tables to like aid with the storytelling and stuff. It's just I'm going fucking balls deep, like you said. It's fun.
Zero.
Oh, well, a whole lot of work between that and Warcraft. I've got 4 characters max level. Now I'm just grinding.
I forgot. Yeah, I see you on playing Warcraft every morning, pretty much.
Yeah, no, I do that before work every day. Kind of
Well, like when you don't have a commute, it's like, hey, I've got all this free time before work now.
Yeah, I started going back and building gardens in my city and city skylines. It's very relaxing. I start waking and baking more often. That's what I should make a commitment to do that in celebration of today. I'll drag today out for the next month.
Well, I mean, it's the 4th month of 2020. This whole month is 420.
It's a good point. I like that point.
Well, found out today that my cousin is working at a local ABC. Everybody in my family is excited about this.
Aye. Yeah, good times. Also, because I love city builders so damn much, I did find a new city builder today that's TBA on Steam. It is called Dynasty of the Sands. And it is an Egyptian-based city builder. Planned release date TBA. But it's from a developer I have never heard of before, called Rocket Flare Studios.
Any other projects on their page?
Nope, this is the first one.
Because I'm curious. That sounds like it has the potential to be badass, and it sounds like it has the potential to be one of those like early access games that dies halfway through development and never reaches potential.
Yeah, right. So the videos that they have up on their Steam page right now are pretty basic, but they have a road system down, and they have buildings, and they posted some shit on Reddit, I believe, or yeah, one of the picture sites of building assets. Apparently, you can level up buildings just like you could the old Caesar and Pharaoh games. If anybody played those back in 1998. Same sort of system. You give houses more amenities and they level up faster, and that's been implemented in a lot of city builder games actually from that point on. So yeah, they've got a lot of this down, and it looks like the game is in a pretty good place. But as you said, it's entirely possible that they're just going to run completely out of steam, and they'll never develop it further, which would be a shame, because it does look like it has amazing potential. But anyway, I'm following it on Steam. It's on my wish list. Dynasty of the Sands.
Yeah, it might not be fair, but my instinct is, I'm not against indie games or small studio games or early access development patterns or anything like that. But it might be unfair. But with this specific type of game, with like city builders, with something that needs to be that expansive, I tend to want to look for the safety of either a bigger developer or a company that can release it when it's done, rather than that sort of incremental growth model.
Yeah, well, to that effect, here's the interesting thing. From the videos and the previews and everything on their development page, it looks like this game is more than ready for early access. They could definitely put this out and have people playing it at this point, but they haven't. So it's a release date and it's TBA. I'm not sure if they're gonna go early access with it. Which could mean a couple of things. One, they're actually a good indie studio and they're gonna release a game like Frostpunk that's actually finished when it's out, and it's not gonna have a ridiculous price tag attached to it. Or they could release a game that's pretty basic with City Builder, and then they could spit out a whole bunch of paid DLC. So yeah, well, I'll see where it goes. I'm not buying it. I can't buy it. But yeah, it's possible. Either way.
Yeah, well, we will definitely have to see, because I might be interested in that if it does turn out to be a pretty good product.
It's so pretty.
Let's just take a second to talk about that Fallout 76 has been out on Steam since April 14th, and it has a mostly positive reviews with 1,957 reviews.
Wait, what?
I guarantee you that most of those are from Bethesda developers.
There's almost 2,000 reviews, and it's mostly positive.
I will just stake my reputation on.
I will say the videos that I was just watching on the Steam page look nothing like the game that I played months ago. So it's entirely possible.
Wait. Okay, so, alright, I guess this is more about how Steam calculates things. Launch day. About 200 positive reviews, about 200 negative reviews. Day after that, about 300 positive reviews, about 100 negative reviews. And then it sort of peters off. So yeah, I could believe mostly positive, but yeah, this is a little deceptive. There are a bunch of negative reviews on the landing page, at least. Oh, received product for free. Oh, product refunded. Received product for free, product refunded. Received product for free. Yeah, okay. I can see why people are leaving positive reviews if they're getting this for free.
Yeah, I mean, if the videos are to be believed, I mean, it's not a horrible looking game. But I feel like the online co-op is a little bit deceptive, because there's still PvP unless they're allowing private servers and not making you pay for them.
I'm skimming through reviews to actually find out just that. But yeah, the whole server thing was kind of ridiculous. Apparently Wastelanders added 10 to 15 hours of new story content, but after that you're back to the original problem of the game, which is looking for stuff to do. And trying not to get dragged into a PvP fight when you don't want to be.
I think after I watched guy on YouTube named Rags, I watched his review of Fallout 76 and one, pissed myself laughing. Two, I don't know that Bethesda could recover well from the debacle that was the release of that game. They can try, but I don't feel that they're ever going to recover from how badly how badly broken that game was at launch, and it still kind of is.
I don't know what that was.
I don't know
Wait,
what that was.
okay,
Go-
so
Goaty
Kobe's
just is
blasted.
like,
The podcast is officially off the rails.
You're
What?
full-blown gay.
Fallout 76 private servers are coming next week. So Wastelander update added private servers for everybody to play on.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
So that's probably why it's getting good reviews. And it also looks like the servers will eventually let players mod worlds. So they'll be able to change the worlds in those private servers as well.
I mean, modding is always good for games. Just when you said that, I immediately went to Ark Survival. I'm like, that's much more of my preferred aesthetic quality for an open world multiplayer game. But if people like Fallout for the aesthetic quality, cool, more power to them.
Yeah, I mean, I already own Fallout 76, so I mean, if they do indeed have private servers, it might be something to put back in and waste some time in. And
Oh
see.
boy, we can buy atoms. I want to see how much atoms cost. 4,000 atoms for $39.99. I don't even know how many 4,000 atoms are.
It's 4,000.
What can I buy with 4,000 atoms, Kobe?
I have no idea. I don't have the game installed. I haven't had it installed for months.
I want a tank.
I think the best you can do is power armor, and I don't think you can buy that. I think you have to find it.
Oh. Do they have power armor that shoots out fire and flies like Iron Man?
No. No,
For a
if it
second,
only
I
walks
was
on the
like, wait a
ground.
minute, Iron Man's suit doesn't shoot out flies?
It really doesn't.
No, it does
no.
not.
This is not Anthem, all right?
That's too bad.
There's a shit show.
Yeah.
Anthem could be such a great game if they would just fix it.
I don't understand what the problem with endgame loot is. What's wrong with altering loot tables? How difficult is that? How did they build the game that it's too complicated for them to do that?
Oh, well, it's not only that. There's no end game content. Like, none. Like, they didn't think end game out at all.
But I thought that it was a grind game, so the whole point of endgame was running around in a circle doing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, apparently they thought everybody was going to go in the free world and just run around and do world events over and over and over, or do the challenge tombs or whatever the fuck they are.
Like people do in Ghost Recon Breakpoint, doing those daily world events, or whatever they call them. Homesteader, what are the green missions that are every
Faction
single day?
missions.
Faction missions, thank you.
I only do that. I've only done those a few times when I've been like exceptionally bored. And it's like,
Yep.
I don't feel like hopping from waypoint to waypoint and exploring.
Yeah, or we did that one because we were right next to it, and it was just kill a guy, and we were like, okay, we'll murder people for shinies.
Yeah, when we were just roaming around, it was like, you know what? We don't really care about the faction in Erewhon, but this is easy. We could do them a favor.
I mean, they wanted us also to infiltrate a wolf base and steal 2 trucks. Fuck that.
Yeah, it's just like, you know what? We don't like you guys that much. You know, you want us to like off one dude in a base with like 3 people walking around that we happen to be near and it's not out of our way and too much of an inconvenience? Yeah, we'll throw you a bone. If you're like, hey, fly across the map, steal these 2 trucks that are being defended by like 40 wolves, yeah, it's not worth our time.
I would even kill the 40 wolves, but gee, how hard is it for you just to get a cargo helicopter or a helicopter that you can attach some cables to the bottom of and then airlift off the back plate of a truck full of like boxes and just leave that way? Why do I have to drive it across the map? That's what I really don't want to do. Murdering people's fine.
Because also, if you ever wanted to play as an old man in, the South Pacific, you can pick up Arma 3 Apex, play old man.
Are they doing the thing where the Japanese soldier gets stranded on an island and doesn't realize that the war has ended, so he just keeps on going, and then somebody finds him in the early 90s, and they're like, whoa!
No.
It's
See.
a really good hardcore history. If any of you are a fan of that podcast, check that one out.
Yep.
Yeah. No, you basically start as an old man, and then you get to go scrounge for weapons and stuff, and then you got to search around the island and find intel and all that good shit.
Was it like
yeah,
the Curious
yeah.
Benjamin button where you get younger as the game progresses?
I was gonna ask what
Probably
time,
not.
what
Do
time
get more
period?
shape. Huh? The regular Arma 3.
Yeah,
Period,
but
whatever that is.
Oh, okay, all right. I don't know what that is. I have Arma 3. I don't
It's
think
like-
I've ever played it though.
I
think it's
got it when it was on like,
2033.
I got it when it was stupid on like a stupid cheap sale, and I played it for 10 minutes, and I was like, "This game sucks," and I stopped.
Oh, it's part of a humble bundle.
Yeah, that sounds
Yeah.
about right.
I got all the Armas from a humble bundle.
Right. Yeah, the controls can be fun to learn. That's for sure.
I understand that it has some cool mods, but the base game itself, is that what you always used to play? Like when I always used to see you on Steam, and it always used to tell me Gobi42 is playing Arma 3.
Well, I did more than just that. They have an editor built in, so I made missions, and I was probably doing coding. At one point, I made a horde mode inside Arma 3. It was in the one like rail station on the one map, and you had to capture and hold the flag, and the longer you held the flag, the more waves of enemies came at you. I used to mod like they're called wasteland missions, where it's a giant MMO map. You drop in, survival type thing with nothing. You got to scavenge gear, and then there's roaming AI just running around trying to kill you. And then there's missions you can do to get better gear and whatnot, and some base building aspects thrown in, along with a monetary system for buying things that you don't find around the world.
Interesting.
Stuff like that. And I used to play like regular modded, which was way more of a pain in the ass back then. You used to have to download a third-party client to get all the mods to update and stay on the same version. Nowadays, it's pretty much all right there on the workshop. So you just click subscribe and Steam downloads it, and then you just load it in the nice Arma 3 loader launcher and go. You can search for servers and find out what mods need to be ran on the servers, and quick download, and it automatically downloads all the mods you need for that server so you can join to it. They streamlined that a little bit, but it's still got the controls are still the one thing that is a pain to learn.
Interesting. Okay.
I just reinstalled it. The game's about 33 gigabytes, and all of my mods are 58 gigabytes.
Okay, that's definitely a RimWorld scenario.
Yeah, I mean, I should mention, like, I do have the one as a map pack, so it adds like 10 maps or whatever to the game, and the islands are obviously they're all pretty much the same size as the biggest island. Some of them are from old games, like you can play the Arma 2 map which is super popular. It's also the DayZ map. They have that one, and then they have a winter version and a fall version as well of the same map, so you can play it in the different seasons, and stuff like that. So that's why the gigs are so much. There's not a whole lot of mods. The other ones are like weapons and stuff like that, custom made weapons.
The gigabytes are so much.
The gigabytes.
Oh boy. All right. Okay. Good times. So.
Yeah. Mods.
Go play Arma. Go watch Rick and Morty. Check out Dynasty of the Sands. Maintain sanity, people.
Good luck with that.
Go play D&D.
Smoke weed every day.
Only if it's legal.
Only if it's legal in your state. Yeah, whatever.
Or you don't give a fuck because you ain't no bitch.
Yeah, that's right. Or, yeah. Leighton has had to go. I'm still bummed about that, but I hope he's having beautiful beauty sleep. He looks so adorable when he's sleeping.
He does. It's so cute. He looks
Especially when he's drunk and he's like slack-jawed with drool coming out, and then his wife is drawing a penis on his forehead.
Mm-hmm. Well, he goes into that baby pose where his like face and upper chest are like squished into the ground, but his butt's sticking up in the air.
Yep.
And he's like got his head sort of like smeared sideways, tongue sort of lolling out, pool of drool. It's adorable.
We'll definitely take your word for it. We'll definitely take your word for it. And on that note, I want to thank you all for joining, and thank you all for listening. We're out of here. Peace.
Penis.